This is Cult Faction Podcast, Episode 7, Looney Tunes, Ancient Ruins, Terror Looms.
Superman.
Hi, welcome to Cult Faction Podcast, Episode 7, Looney Tunes, Ancient Ruins, Terror Looms. I'm Damian, and as ever, I'm joined by...
Brett.
And Paul Hawkins.
Cool, got to get your surname in there for some reason, but that's fine.
Well, I don't know why we don't have our surnames in. I mean...
I thought we'd just been casual.
Yeah, we're all friends here.
Well, let's be honest, we've hardly seen each other in over a year.
This is true.
No one has.
Anyway, what's been going down in Groovetown, Brett?
Yeah, it's been an interesting week on Easter holidays from work, so 2 weeks to myself, not having to do much. So I've just been catching up on a few things, and I discovered Forces TV have now reached the end of its peak of Goodnight Sweetheart. It's finished now. It's over. I've adjusted. I found something new. You may have heard of it.
But then what are we going to talk about for the next couple of weeks? Every week we've talked about Goodnight Sweetheart.
Have you heard of a show about a tough, uncompromising American police officer who gets stuck in the British forces, partnered by a woman in the 80s, Dempsey and Makepeace?
Oh, God. Here we go.
Yeah.
And the pilot episode was on. The pilot episode was on. Yeah, talking about dating this podcast. The pilot episode was on. And to be honest, despite the few discrepancies between day and night time and what might actually be happening, and people seeming to forget that it was 3 o'clock in the morning just now. Now, when they went outside, it was daylight, and then it went back to being nighttime again and things like that. It was enjoyable.
We've all had days like that, Brett. We've all had those type days.
But we lost a few hours in the middle somewhere.
Yeah.
Unfortunately,
I don't think I ever saw the pilot episode.
Oh no, it's good, and it's just full of people that end up being other people later on. You know,
What, you mean actors?
Yes. Like there's a guy that got shot, and he ended up. Oh, I can't remember now. I should have written it down. But yeah, he was important nowadays. But he had about one line and died. And there's
we've all got to start
Sean Bean, was it?
No one that, you know.
No one famous for dying in the first couple of seasons.
So if you're into new old shows, Forces TV and Dempsey and Makepeace is a cop drama. It's gritty. Basically, they've got the idea of like, we need a gritty American police drama, but we'll do it in London.
It was kind of like Heart to Heart, but a bit grittier.
And less money.
Yeah. You know, I've never thought of that, but you're right there, Paul. That I can see how that works.
Without the cool voiceover, and it was murder. That's his point.
And I guess there was no Labrador in.
No freeway.
That's it, freeway.
Don't know where I thought that from. I do. Because that's still on Sony TV with Charlie's Angels and the other stuff.
Cool.
So that's something to watch as well. I've also kind of gone down sort of an old horror route. I watched The Fly with Jeff Goldblum.
Okay.
Gene Davis, was it?
Yeah.
Gene Davis?
Yeah.
That was all right.
Gina Davis.
That still holds up. That still holds up very well. House with William Catt and Norm from Cheers. Awesome film.
I think that's George Wendt, isn't it? That's his name.
George Wendt.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's outside of Cheers his best role. In fact, I would even argue that it's better than his role in Cheers, to be honest. But I wouldn't want to cause any friction.
Wasn't he in Toy Story?
No, that was John Ratzenberger.
Of course it was.
Cliff. Now, Norm had the greatest one-liners ever.
I'm not saying. Don't get me wrong.
Please don't email me and everyone. He doesn't know what he's saying. It's an institution. It's an alcoholic's role model, and you can't just toss him under a bus like that because he lived next door to someone else.
I just think he does more acting in House than he does in Cheers. I think there's anything controversial about that. In Cheers, he walks into the bar, sits at a bar stool, pretends to get drunk, or maybe even does get drunk, for all we know.
Yeah, you're right. To be fair, he did not get to use a spear gun in Cheers. You're right.
Exactly.
Whereas in House, he does get to use a spear gun. Yeah, no, you're right there. So yeah, but go and check that out. Make up your own mind. Is he better in Cheers? Is he better in House? Is he the same character? We'll never know. Maybe that's what Norm got up to when he wanted at the bar.
I like the idea of that.
Yeah.
That's why he drunk so much.
Yeah, he lived next door to William Cat.
Yeah.
Also caught up with some of the stuff over the Horror Channel's sci-fi and classic horror weekend, including This Island Earth. They had Wolfman, Dracula, all the Universal stuff. Some of it was, it's worth a watch once or twice, but it doesn't.
I think you got to be in the mood to watch that.
Yeah,
and appreciate it.
And also, really enjoyed The Falcon and the Winter Soldier this week on Disney Plus. Very, very surprising ending to that one with a little bit of a twist to the tale. And also Invincible again on Amazon Prime this week was amazing. And if you're not watching that yet, you need to be getting on it very, very soon. And, of course, you'll be as sad as I was, but it was the season finale of Resident Alien. So, but as we know, there is a season 2 and there's been a season 2 teaser already. So,
Yay.
Cool.
It's a great ending to the show that I won't go into. Has anyone started watching it yet?
Yes.
No.
Yeah, I've got. I'm on the penultimate episode at the moment.
Yeah. So, was I right?
Yeah. I'm convert.
Yes. Call him, Damien. Just you to go now.
You wait 3 months down the line in the podcast. Did anyone ever watch Resident Alien? Can't remember if we talked about it or not, but you should. If you haven't watched it, you should check it out.
Yeah, so that's pretty much been my week. Want to make you guys?
So Paul, what have you been chowing down on? I don't know.
No, I have no.
No. I think we
That's
might edit that out.
Yeah. So Line of Duty, carrying on with seasons 3 and 4. Got into Resident Alien, binge watched the first 6 or 7, 8 episodes. I can't remember what it is now. Put them on the second to last. It is very good. I hate to say that Brett's right, but it's very funny, very dark. And lots of twists and turns. So I do like it. I'm equally as enamored with the series and Alan Tudyk. As I said, Line of Duty, just carrying on, binge watching that, very good. And the blockbuster that is Godzilla, which we'll be talking about in a little bit. Well, apart from the normal kids programs that I'm bound to watch, I did notice that on Disney they've got the Battle for Endor and Caravan of Courage that I tried to get the kids to start watching tonight, but they were having none of it. Literally just wanted it off and Teen Titans back on. So I'll have to watch that one another night when they're in bed.
Maybe lure them in with the Ewoks cartoon first.
Well, it's better than what I normally do and bribe them with sweets to sit them down and put the popcorn in front of them.
Fair enough.
What about you, Damien?
Not a lot really. It's been since this is going to date anyway, regardless, isn't it? But since lockdown has lifted slightly, been a bit busy, but did manage to finish the Irregulars. Not really much to add to the conversation from last week. It didn't get any better, didn't get any worse. It's
How would you sum up the series then for maybe someone didn't listen last week? What would you just to sum it up?
I would sum it up as a passable 45 minutes of television. Yeah, I'm trying to remember. It's been 5 days since I finished watching it, I think, but it's
So it's forgettable then?
It is forgettable. There is no desire. I think we said last week, some series you watch and you can't wait to see what they're going to do if they get to the second season and how. But ends exactly how you expect it to end. The big bad is exactly what you expect it to be. I think they tried to make that a twist, but you can see that coming a mile off. So, yeah, watchable, passable. It's not in the bin, but am I excited for a second season? Certainly not.
So was it better than the Baker Street Boys from the 80s, starring British acting phenomenon Adam Woodgett?
I would actually say no, it's not better than that. But then that kind of kept to the original premise of what the Irregulars were. To some extent. I know it kind of moved on from the time period or whatever, as in it was set after Sherlock Holmes's cases that have been written were finished, but this just goes off at a tangent. It's just not worth talking about, to be perfectly honest.
Well, that's great because we spent 5 minutes talking.
Yeah,
about
exactly. You know, I was trying not to.
That's all right. Well, we
Just kept pushing it, like Jeremy Paxman. Give me your views.
You've saved listeners, and now they know why. You know, every podcast is someone's first podcast. They might not have heard your views last time.
Fair enough. So I also watched Inheritance on Netflix. I think it would have been a cinema release had it been the normal times. So it's not a normal Netflix film, as in there's a slightly more to it than that. The synopsis that the opening line, the synopsis is: patriarch of a wealthy and powerful family suddenly passes away, leaving his daughter with a shocking secret inheritance that threatens to unravel and destroy their lives. It's one of those you can't sort of talk too much about it because each part of the film is a reveal, if you see what I mean. But ultimately, there's a guy locked in a basement on the grounds of their family home, and it's all about her trying to unravel the story of why he's there. That guy is played by Simon Pegg, and he does a really good turn.
I've seen this. This is the one where he's like an old man, or looks like an old man with a long beard.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah. It's a good film.
Yeah, it is.
I just didn't recognise the title.
It took me. I had to go and Google it again this morning to find out what it was called. Same reason. I couldn't remember what it was called. But yeah, it's enjoyable. It's not a horror or anything like that. It's more of a psychological thriller.
Yep.
But yeah, again, it's another one of those. You talk too much about it, you give away the plot. So it's worth a watch.
Yeah, definitely. Second that. Now that
it's sunk in,
reminded me that I've watched it.
Cool. And the only other thing I watched this week.
I've got that thing. I may have seen it as well. Is it Phil Collins' daughter?
Don't know. I didn't. Also in it is the guy in Heroes who plays the Deep. He's the brother of the main protagonist. Couldn't tell you his name, and it's really not important for this conversation. But
okay, it does ring a bell now you say it. But yeah, so carry on.
Yeah, and then I've continued my foray into old 80s horror stroke sci-fi, and this week I ended up on The Stuff.
Oh wow, okay.
Yeah,
there's something in the stuff.
Exactly.
That gave me nightmares as a kid.
It did, yeah, me too. And it's not as scary as we remember it being. I mean, I think it came out in like 1984 or 85. I haven't Googled it, so I couldn't tell you, but I'm sure it's around that sort of time.
Definitely around then.
Yeah. But it's classic B movie fare.
Yeah.
You got really good performance from the lead guy. I did write his name down, Michael Moriarty, who just kind of plays the whole thing as this just smooth, nothing phases him kind of character. And then bizarrely, and I had literally no idea until he popped up.
I know, is that what you were going to say? Because it shocked me.
In there. Yeah. He plays this kind of crazy, whacked out ex-military general of some sort who lives in a castle in the middle of nowhere and has his own private army. It's just brilliant. And there's no explanation to why he's there. It's just, he just is Paul Sorvino as a general in the army. And they go and get him to help do, and he happens to own like 2 radio stations, so he can get the broadcast out about how bad stuff is. So there's a lot of the plot seems to have disappeared in the edit, but it's still a great film. And it's actually one of those films that you think is worthy of a remake, because even though that is still a good film, I think if they were to remake that now with obviously better effects, more budget, different cast, I think it would actually be an awesome film. But yeah, so that's my week in cult.
No, fair play. No, I remember that. I watched it back a little while ago. I think in lockdown 1, and then he suddenly popped up, and it was like, what?
Yeah, exactly. I think it's I'm sure it's Amazon. I guess it's free if you got Prime. Could never remember.
It was on one of them. It was on one of those things. Yeah, that's what I watched it on. Cool then.
Cool. So shall we move on to what we're now calling the drop zone?
The drop zone.
The drop zone. So the drop zone, if you really want to know, for those of you that are listening and are interested in how we come up with this crap, the drop zone is all the trailers that we've looked at this week that have dropped. And we're going to start with, I believe, Loki?
Yes, Loki, yeah. Loki is going to debut on Disney Plus on June 11th this year. And, spinning out of the events to Avengers Endgame, Loki sees Tom Hiddleston reprise the title in a show created by Michael Waldron for Disney Plus. It follows the Loki of the past who escaped with the Tesseract after the Avengers traveled back in time to get it during the initial Avengers movie. It will feature Owen Wilson as Mobius and Mobius, a member of the Time Variance Authority, TVA, a police organization that monitors the timeline and the multiverse. Also appearing will be Sophie DiMartino, Sasha Lane, Richard E. Grant, Winmi Masaka, and Google Mabapa Raw.
Are you waiting for some response to that?
I'm just happy I probably got that through without being racist or anything.
Yeah, I was impressed with some of those pronunciations. I was impressed. I was glad I was on mute at one point because I did chuckle, but I was on mute, so it's all right.
Yeah.
But I mean, as far as this trailer goes, or as far as this series goes, I couldn't give a shit.
But it's got time travel in it. You love that.
I'm just not interested.
You haven't seen any of the Avengers, have you?
No. Why do they just keep channeling this same shite out? I don't understand. So if you guys want to talk amongst yourselves for however long you need to talk about Loki, you guys crack on.
The difference about Loki is he's a bad guy, but he's quite a funny bad guy, and he's almost a good bad guy as well sometimes. And the trailer plays on a lot of that. I think there's one scene about, I'm not going to stab you in the back, and Owen Wilson basically said that I pretty much know everything you've done in your life, and you've literally stabbed 50 people in the back. Loki's one of the good characters from the Avengers series, and Tom Hiddleston just plays the English bad guy quite well.
Yeah, I think Hiddleston's going to have a field day with this. I think he's from all these different films where he's been like the bad guy or the other character in it. Now they're basically like giving him the stage. I went, go on, then off you go. And I think we're going to have some fun with it. And apparently, a lot of his time traveling exploits relate to sort of real unsolved crimes and things, which is right up your street, Damien. And mysteries and people and things where like I forgot the guy's name. Well, Loki has a cape, but I think he's to be the main one. If he's in his Loki cape gear, he might be in some of it. He's in a suit and tie.
He even has a group of Victorian children that follow him around.
But I forgot the guy's name now. There was that famous like millionaire dude who disappeared on the aeroplane and they never found him. No, in real life. Oh. But I think by looking at the trailer, you get the impression that guy was Loki. That's why you never found him. He jumped somewhere else. I think they've done their homework.
D.B. Cooper.
It may be. If you said it,
Cooper is a classic mystery where the guy hijacked a plane. Yeah,
that could be the one. I think
was supposedly he then jumped out of the plane and they never found him.
I think that might be the hint that's one of the people that Loki one of his exploits through the time stream was that he
You have tweaked my interest.
Uh-huh.
So is this a series or
it will be a series. I mean, it will carry on. It will be the one that starts after the Falcon and Winter Soldier finish. So we've had the WandaVision that's tagged onto that. No, you haven't got to watch all these, but they're having one. That's what I'm saying. What they're doing is they're scheduling them one after the other, so you can dive into what one you want to follow. But there's always going to be, I think, something on of Marvel Hero Base. So there's at some point, if it's not at the cinema, there'll be a series on Disney Plus. Which, in all honesty,
wall-to-wall Marvel.
They got a 20-year plan, as we were talking about the other week.
Yeah, it's not like I've been waiting like 44 years for this. But yeah, so that was Loki in the drop zone. Also in the drop zone this week, Space Jam: A New Legacy, the trailer.
Yeah, I've been waiting 20 years for this one.
Yeah.
Basically, it's LeBron James this time. I don't need to read the thing out, do I?
No, you certainly don't.
It's LeBron James. In the trailer, you sort of see it. His kid kind of gets kidnapped by the dude that plays War Machine in Marvel. I've forgotten his name. Don Cheadle gets kidnapped by Don Cheadle, and he's got to win a basketball game to win him back. And then he kind of gets pushed through a thing, and it all goes Looney Tunes and every other popular character you can think of.
Yeah,
seems to pop up, and the whole thing has been this week of who you can spot in the trailer.
And there's some odd ones in there, aren't there? Let's face it, for a Looney Tunes adventure.
Oh, definitely. I mean, I'm just trying to find where's our list. We had Planet Westeros, the Game of Thrones. There's a planet focusing on the Maltese Falcon. There's a planet Gotham. There's a planet of the Wizard of Oz that he passes through. And then for the characters, you've got Pennywise from It, Magilla Gorilla, the Wicked Witch and the Flying Monkeys from the Wizard of Oz, Agent Smith from The Matrix, or apparently might be a Men in Black, depending. It's a bloke in a suit with shades on. Mr. Freeze, Arnold Schwarzenegger style. Nearly everyone from the 66 Batman series, Jack Nicholson's Joker, DeVito's Penguin, the Scooby Gang, the Flintstones, the Jetsons, Space Ghost, Cheetara from Thundercats, a whole bunch of people from Game of Thrones. My personal favourite, Captain Caveman, pops up. Jabba Jaws, Yogi and Boo Boo, King Kong, the Iron Giant, the Mask, Betty Davis from Whatever Happened to Baby Jane, and Mama Fratelli, aka Anne Ramsey from the Goonies, have all turned up.
So you have pretty much answered my question, which was going to be, why are we even talking about this nonsense? But that list of cameos, for want of a better word, has answered that. So
well, people
carry on. Who was your?
I know. So the one also, the interesting choice is that they've got the Droogs from A Clockwork Orange in the crowd. Yeah,
those wholesome Disney characters.
Yeah. So we're in an era now where Pepe Le Pew has been taken out of the film because he's has dated values towards women. I believe is how it was phrased, because he's
but they're not even women, are they? They're animals.
Females, then whatever, you know.
He's a bit lechy. I'm guessing that's the
so we can't get here. Yeah.
It doesn't matter whether he's lechy towards a cat or a.
I know, but have you seen real cats in the wild? They don't take them out for dinner and everything like that, do they? They're you know.
I think it's
so Pepe Le Pew at least try to romance them.
I think it's his refusal to take no for an answer and being a bit pushy that may do it. So I'm not sure if it upset. That was the upsetting bit. Whether or not it upset French people because he was French, or whatever. But like, he's not allowed, and they've took him out. He was in the film. They took him out. He was in Space Jam, the new one. No way. But the Droogs can run around and have a nice little day out courtside watching a basketball game. The Droogs, who one of the more famous scenes from that film. Can anyone remind me what happened in A Clockwork Orange?
I don't think we really need to discuss it.
Yeah, but
they weren't very nice to men or women, were they?
Yeah. So why is that in a kids' film?
Yeah.
I am by no means a prude, but if you can't be in there for chasing around a cat who got paint on it and looked like a skunk by accident, why have we got a bunch of definite
ne'er-do-wells?
Yeah. Yes. Yeah, so I'm at a loss on that one. I'm interested to see how they develop it
maybe
further.
in other scenes, maybe Chucky's in. Wait, yeah, didn't you say Pennywise was in there?
Yep.
Yeah. So we could, Chucky might be somewhere in the crowd that we haven't seen yet.
Well, that's what I was trying to think of. Is like, what else does Warner Brothers own? Because that's going to be what pops up. Because the Iron Giant's in like every film they make now.
Yeah.
And I guess all these franchises now, I think what they've done, this is like an acid test to see which ones people pick up on and go, oh my god, it's Scooby, oh my god, it's Captain Caveman, or Captain Caveman, whichever one gets mentioned, Captain Caveman, and then they might make that into a film, like Captain Caveman, for instance.
It's not Candyman. Just because you say his name 3 times doesn't mean the film's going to be made.
Yeah, it will in a minute.
You
A Warner
never know.
Bros. Executive's going to knock my door.
Yowzy.
Yeah, well, I mean, we talked about They Live the other week, and it's trended on Netflix, so
That's the power of cult faction.
Exactly.
Yeah, it is.
But yeah, I've watched the trailer once, and I think before we started recording, Brett, you said it yourself. It's like Ready Player One. They've just getting as many references in there as they can to kind of cult light, if that makes sense, characters and stuff, just
and
to
also like
get bums on the seats.
Do people know LeBron James? This is going to sound silly because I've heard of him, but I'm not a basketball dude. I mean, people knew who Michael Jordan was. If you didn't know he played basketball, you thought he made trainers when that film came out.
So people in the US will definitely know who he is.
Yeah, but that's only half the market now, isn't it? You got us, you got China, you got all these. Will they know? I mean, he is famous. I'm not saying he's not famous at all. Don't get me wrong. But like, is he? Or maybe
I don't
this
think
is the
it
test.
really matters. I don't think it's important. I think for the American market, like Paul said, they will know who he is. When it comes over here, I don't think it matters because it's a family film. I hate that term because it's a cartoon. It's not a family film, but it's a family film. So it doesn't matter who's playing the lead role per se.
Yeah, I get you. I mean, he's a basketball player. Look, there's a basketball player. Yeah.
So it's like Who Framed Roger Rabbit, isn't it? Let's face it.
I don't remember anyone play basketball.
No, neither do I.
No, but again, like Bob Hoskins isn't probably the that famous over in the States when it was released, compared to some other American actors that could have filled the bill.
Oh yeah, but I mean, I get your point. But this is sort of built around LeBron James, isn't it? This is like him going to save his son, and we need to know. Although his wife in it is played by what's her face from Star Trek Discovery? I've forgotten her name now. Sonique. I forget. Anyway, but so they haven't used necessarily his real family, which I'm sure someone will mention in the review. Going, that's not even his real kid. Will Smith used his real son.
Yeah, but I think, unlike the original was literally a vehicle for Jordan to be more than just the basketball player, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Whereas I think this doesn't seem to have the same feel about it. Admittedly, I've only watched the trailer and read a few things about it online, but I don't know, it just doesn't feel like it's that same feel, the same, we just want to get something out there to raise the Jordan profile and make a shed load of more money that on the back of his, already burgeoning celebrity.
Think it's just a shame. It seems like a waste of all those good characters that could have actually been, in another type of Ready Player One style horror film, as opposed to being wasted on a basketball film, which is going to be a PG or a U or whatever.
Don't worry, I reckon more films like this will be coming now. Because again, we're in the age of, and I'll get into this a bit later on as well on a few other things. We're in an age of
no original ideas.
Well, not so much the idea, but it's more it's the properties again. They're going to bang all them out there. I'm imagining there's going to be action figures of these films.
Well, you could almost say it's with the amount of stuff that you've just talked about that's in the trailer, and there's probably obviously going to be more in the film. Yeah. It's almost like let's just throw enough shit at it, and the ones that stick, we'll take from that and make.
Yeah, that's what I meant by that earlier on. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, like Captain Caveman.
I don't know, but you just won't get the same.
I just want to
set
see.
up. He won't be able to travel around in the van like he did in the.
I just
in the
want to see
original cartoon.
a big hairy man with a club and 3 women traveling around the van.
He had a cape, Damien.
Not all the time, he didn't.
Okay, next up in the drop zone, we've got Star Wars: The Bad Batch trailer. What did you think of that one, Paul?
Yeah, really liked it. So this seems a bit darker than Clone Wars, which I really enjoyed as well. Effects look good, story looks good. It's from the bad guy's perspective as opposed to the good guy's perspective predominantly. So I think I'm going to try and get the kids to help me watch this.
No, definitely. I mean, the cartoons have been so good to Star Wars, where some of the films haven't been. And it's kicking off on May the 4th with a 70-minute premiere as well. So they're aiming big with this one. And Damien, have you got it set to record?
No, I haven't, because I'm an adult.
Didn't watch any of the Clone Wars type
or Rebels?
No, I again refer you to my earlier comment. I'm a grown up. I don't watch Star Wars cartoons.
Times will change.
I can assure you they won't.
But they're good.
I bet you used to think you wouldn't watch Peppa Pig.
I think the argument can be said whether I watch Peppa Pig or not is open for debate. It's on. In fact, she now has her own tablet, so she watches it on a tablet.
I was disappointed you didn't know the character's name when I saw you yesterday.
I do now though. It's Becca Rabbit.
Rebecca Rabbit.
Rebecca Rabbit. There you go. But no, no, I'm not interested. I couldn't give a shit about Star Wars cartoons or otherwise. It should have just stopped years ago.
Have you taken your painkiller?
I have.
Okay,
so you carry on. You can talk among yourselves. Don't.
Well, we've given it the thumbs up. We're both really excited, and then you just shit on it, so it's okay.
No, there's 2 thumbs up, one thumb down. So
it wasn't a thumbs down. That was like a DM boot down. It was just,
well, we can't all like the same.
It was like Star Wars owed him money. It was just like, what was going on there? No, it's a cartoon. You're all idiots. Hate leads to the dark side, Damien.
Well, yep. Then I'm all for that.
You probably like this one.
I won't.
You said that about Loki.
I've still not watched it though.
Not yet, but you will. Okay, anyway then, moving on. Next up in the drop zone. I quite like this one. It looks very good. Sam and Matty make a zombie movie. And here we go. Sam and Maddie, 2 best friends with Down syndrome, rally the entire town of Providence, Rhode Island to help them storyboard, script, produce, cast, and star in their own dream movie. This 10-plus year adventure shatters disability stereotypes, champions the independent spirit, and features over 70 gallons of fake blood, and culminates in the ultimate payoff when they present Spring Break Zombie Massacre in its entirety to the public for the first time. This is the documentary behind all of that and all the work that went into it. I think it looks awesome, and I think it is a good thing to watch if you're an independent filmmaker or someone who's trying to get something off the ground, because there's a lot of things that actually, even in the trailer, you can see you get a little few shots behind the camera of how things are done and maybe how to do things on the cheap when you haven't got a big Hollywood budget. Yeah, definitely. What did you guys think?
Yeah, I agree. I think I think it's something that when I was their age, I wish I had the balls to try and do. You know, admittedly, times are different now. You've got probably more technology available at your fingertips than you did back when we were young. But yeah, I think it looks awesome. I think I've seen. I managed to find like a trailer for the film, and then a trailer for the documentary, if that makes sense.
Oh, cool.
So I think the kind of the actual film itself, you take away the trailer, the documentary bit aspect away from it, that still looks bloody good. As in, you know, you can see what it is, but as in it's a sort of not homemade film. That doesn't sound right. It's a amateur made film, should we say? That probably makes it more sense. But you can see that, but it still looks exactly what they want it to look like, if that makes sense. And then you put the documentary on top of that. I think there's just no reason not to want to watch it. It looks awesome.
What did you think, Paul?
I don't know. I don't know why this has been made necessarily, as opposed to just like a documentary that you'd get on Netflix. As opposed, I don't know why it deserves its own big budget. Well, not big budget, but it's probably got a bigger budget than the actual original film. Which is random. It makes me want to watch the original, and then I think I'd take a judgment call on whether I'd watch the documentary of it, if that makes sense. Yeah.
Okay. Well, it's coming to Apple TV, so if you've got that, you can do it. That's who's got it at the moment. So that might explain your budget thing there. Might be something that Apple are putting their money into, but it is, it's 1 hour 47 minutes, and it looks like it's available now actually. So it may have dropped this week with the trailer, but it is definitely something I'm going to try and get hold of, see if I can get a look at it, because I do like a good behind the scenes kind of making of thing, and it's got a bit of a feel good factor with it, and that's something the world needs right now.
Yeah, lots of people dying in the zombie apocalypse.
Yep. And also, then you've got the film. Next up, in our final item for the drop zone this week is the trailer for The Night House. Damian.
Brett. Oh, you want me to say something?
Yeah.
I see.
I thought you were going to tell us about that one.
Oh, I can do.
Oh, no, I've got it now. I've got it come out. Reeling from the unexpected death of her husband, Beth, Rebecca Hill, is left alone in the lakeside home he built for her. She tries as best as she can to keep it together, but then the dreams come. Disturbing visions of her presence in the house call out to her, beckoning with a ghostly allure. But the harsh light of day washes away any proof of a haunting. Against the advice of her friends, she begins digging into his belongings, yearning for answers. What she finds are secrets both strange and terrible, and a mystery she's determined to resolve. Yeah, Damien, what did you think?
I think it looks quite good. I mean, to be fair, the trailer kind of starts out as your classic kind of just a bit of a husband's dead, ghost story stuff, shadows, all that sort of malarkey. But then sort of midway through the trailer, there's a twist that comes. Obviously, it's not giving anything away to the film because it's in the trailer, but it seems that the house is kind of opposite. At one point, she opens the door in the trailer and sees herself lying on the sofa. Yeah. But I think it looks quite. Excuse me. I think it looks good.
I do, but I think they've given too much away.
Yeah, I think that's always the way with trailers like this, because they kind of, like I said, it runs like a normal kind of average haunted house trailer for, I don't know, the first minute or so. They have to give you something after that, otherwise, why would you want to why would you want to go out your way to go and watch another haunted house film, especially one that's set in current times? I think when it comes to haunted house and horrors and stuff like that, the best ones tend to be set. I'm not talking about specifically haunted house stuff. Tends to be set, way back in the past, like 18th century,
Women in Black,
17th century. Yeah, or that kind of era works better for.
I get what you're saying, but I think the revelation in the trailer.
Well, that may not be the entire plot twist, if there is one.
It will be.
Right.
No, I'm up for watching it. Everything about it I like. It's on the to watch list now. I just want to be wrong. I want to be.
A few years ago, he wanted to believe. Now he wants to be wrong.
No, I want to, because I think I already know what's going to happen. I want it to be something where I don't you know, it gets me. Like the Haunted Hill House, that was a good show with a haunted house, and I didn't get all of that. Bits of it I did, but
which one that was?
that was the Netflix series.
Recent.
Yeah, the first one, not the second one. The one with the family.
Oh yeah, there was a second one was Blythe Manor.
Yeah, that didn't happen. That too was in a parallel Earth, but yeah. But I just want to be, watch it. Oh, that means that, and that means that, and that means that. And now I want to be wrong. Though I want to be like, oh, I didn't think of that. And that doesn't happen often now. I want those bits where you'd stick it on its head, spin it around, and throw it back at us. A lot of the time, they kind of, like you say, stick to the formula, and we all know the formula.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's one of those genres that's been done so many different times, and as Damian said, each one tries to have its own spin on it. There was one a couple of years ago, wasn't there, where family move into a house and they think there's ghosts there, but are they the ghost, and have they always been there, and all that kind of stuff. I can't remember whether that was on the BBC or not.
Oh yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah.
Had the guy from Merlin in that one.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's hard to get excited about these kind of films, and I think you're right, Brett. Hopefully they'll do a good job. But that didn't really get too much out of the trailer, if I'm honest.
No, it looks promising, but I need more than promising nowadays. Come on, you can do this.
Yeah. Pull your finger out.
Yeah. Shock us, twist our minds. And so concludes the Drop Zone. Okay, next up we'll have a look on our news desk. Damian, what's on the news desk today? The news.
It's on the news desk. So headlines I've got in front of me are: Disney Plus orders a new reimagined National Treasure TV show. From what I can make out, none of the original cast.
Have they dug up Nicolas Cage?
Nice. It sounds to me like it's just going to be a librarians type show with what was the one where they had all those artifacts in a
Warehouse 13.
Warehouse 13, that's the one. I was trying to think of that as when I read about it, but it sounds like it's going to be something like that. So, you know, much younger cast by the looks of it. New characters, so none of the original. You know,
but the same basic concept.
The same basic concept.
Very good. Yeah.
We'll see how that pans out. I can't imagine it's going to ever be on the top of any of our lists that we.
I don't find myself writing it down.
No,
at the moment. So. Okay. But
I did like the films, to be honest.
I remember watching the first one.
If they'd have made a third one, I'd probably watch it.
Was there two? Was it? I'm sure I probably have seen the second one. But yeah, I did enjoy the first one. I'm not going to mock it. It is what it is. It's a good film. It's quite enjoyable. I'm sure, like I say, I'm sure I've seen the second one, but I can't imagine a TV series. Like I said, I think it's just going to be librarians kind of format.
Object of the week.
Yeah, exactly. Which was the same for Warehouse 13, wasn't it? Which started out really well, but kind of.
What was that one? What was that one with Tia Carrera, Relic Hunter?
Yeah.
But basically, it was Tomb Raider, but like not Lara Croft. It was like someone else. It was Tia Carrera, who was totally not Lara Croft and had a butler, but wasn't Lara Croft. Okay, what else is on the news desk?
We've also got Pierce Brosnan has been cast as Dr. Fate in DC's Black Adam. I'm sure that means something to the pair of you. It doesn't mean I know who Pierce Brosnan is, obviously, but the rest of the words in that sentence don't really mean a lot to me.
Do you want to take this one, Paul? Or?
No.
Well, Black Adam is basically, it will be played by Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, and it is basically like the first Shazam. So in Shazam, the guy gets the power, but he was the one that got it first, but he used it for evil and went all bad, and the power corrupted him. So I don't know. I'm guessing this will probably be like an origin or something of that. And Dr. Fate is like the sort of DC Universe Doctor Strange. You know, he's a bit mythical. He's between dimensions and can see, and a bit of a wizard in magic and all that stuff. So Pierce Brosnan, I think, will be very good at that, because you kind of plays that character a lot in most things he's in now. Anyway, he's some sort of wise dude. He did it in
the pub one.
Oh yeah, the World's End. That was
World's
it.
End.
Because Dalton was in the other one because they were trying to get all the bombs in one. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, so no, I think it's good casting.
I only have one question: will there be capes?
Don't know. It's Dwayne the Rock Johnson, so I think it'll be whatever the Rock says. if the Rock wants a cape, he's going to have a cape. If the Rock doesn't, I don't know how I want to do it. I mean, Shazam, which is part of its thing, was quite a cheesy film aimed for kids, really. Rather
I didn't mind Shazam.
Yeah, I liked it, but it wasn't Snyder. So, but it's in the same universe. But yeah, we'll see. It'll be an interesting one how it develops. But I think it's good casting. My worry is where they pitch the film. I think that might be where they lose it in this one. Are they going to try and be all like dark and gritty and black and white, or are they going to try and be like, chrome, or are they going to be like bright and colourful like Shazam was? Hopefully they'll follow on from the first film because that's what they should be doing because it all links together. But
do you reckon they make him evil, like Dwayne?
Yeah, I think that's the whole bit. I think that's the whole.
It just that goes against, well, unless I'm missing a few films, but that goes against most of the films that he's in nowadays, where he's basically kind of a good guy.
I mean, that is the other danger, isn't it? Is there going to be it being The Rock? Also, if he is evil, are we going to end up liking him anyway because it's The Rock, and it kind of ruins it? Is he going to be nudge, nudge, wink, wink evil, or is he going to be cutthroat evil, bloodthirsty evil? You know, that's the whole thing. That's why I think this film has got a big danger of losing it where it's pitching, and I think that might be its downfall. We can come back in 3 years when they made it.
Yeah, I was going to say it's literally just casting at the moment. So
yeah, what else we got?
So the teaser for Chucky has been released.
Oh yeah,
this is the TV series.
This is the TV series written by Don Mancini, who wrote all the original Chucky films with Brad Dourif doing the voice of Chucky, Charles Lee Ray. This is the guy that basically it's his franchise. He created it. He's kept it going all these years. Jennifer Tilly's going to be in the series as well. I imagine a few other people are going to pop up through the Chucky all through the thing. So to me, I'm quite excited about this because it is just following on from all the films that we already know. It's not a remake or a rehash because they already tried that. That was the one thing I thought was a bit cheeky. Was it last year when the studio brought out another Child's Play film whilst he was developing the TV series? It's like
yeah. So I think this is the images I've seen online of that, which kind of puts me off. I've not seen the teaser for this, so I don't know.
But this follows on from the cult of Chucky. So if you watched all the films through now, this follows on from that. It's got nothing to do with that one that the studio brought out because they wanted another Chucky franchise. And
even that sounds like a film fest night, doesn't it?
Yeah, I've got the box set. You're welcome.
Yeah.
We could do that. We could go through them, Halloween special or something, or just But I'm looking forward to it because Don Mancini's written all of them. So you've got the guy. It's been his vision since the beginning. It's gone where he's wanted to go with it. I mean, some of them have been a bit weird. Don't get me wrong, but you still got the same guy helming it a few years after the first film. I don't even want to know how many it is after the first film. But he's still there. He's steering it, and now he's got into the TV series, and he's still in creative control. So, being that it's his vision that he's steering where he wants it to go, I'm on board on this because I've liked all the others. What else we got? So,
the last piece of news we got is Paul Ritter passed away today, aged 55. Died of a brain tumor, I believe.
Yeah, I saw the reports that. I mean, Friday Night Dinner is probably what he's known for.
Probably his biggest role.
But it was an evil git in Chernobyl as well.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you know what? I never watched that.
So you should do. It's on.
Yeah, I know. Everyone says it's really good, but it's just one of those things I've never got around to watching. It's not exactly a light-hearted Saturday night TV.
I was the same. Someone told me the end, and I was like, oh. But but he's done. There was a Harry Potter film he was in. He's one of those guys, when I look back at what he'd done, he's been in stuff through the years that I've seen, but probably just not realised it was him. He's another one of those guys. He's won loads of awards for the stage as well, and he's an actor's actor. And it's such a shame.
It is a shame. And finally, for a change, there's actually a film that we've all watched this week, and that is, someone remind me, because I've forgotten.
Godzilla versus Kong. Dun, dun, dun.
So we've all watched. Is it Godzilla versus Kong, or is it Kong versus Godzilla?
Godzilla versus Kong.
Thank you. So what do we think?
I liked it.
And there we go. Why compared to all the others, do you think this is the best? Not as good?
I think out of all of them so far, they've gradually been moving in the right direction. It's a shame it's took like 4 or 5 movies to do that, and God knows how much money. But I think they've actually started to move in the right direction. That the monsters actually had a bit of character to themselves. I mean, I would say, I think I put in my review, the greatest thing about this movie is that the 3 strongest characters are the 3 that don't speak a word. Kelly Hottle, who plays the young girl with the hearing problem, does the sign language, was amazing in this and sort of carried the whole film on her back as far as I was concerned, compared to all her Hollywood friends and.
I mean, she's got a lot of weight to carry as well, hasn't she? Let's face it.
Yeah, I mean, the 2 kaiju to start with, let alone the dead wood around her. I think the human stories, like all these films, they end up padding up a little bit more than they need to. Did we really need the whole bit with the girl from Stranger Things?
Millie Bobby Brown.
Yeah, Millie Bobby Brown.
Yeah,
Did we need that whole bit?
What was the point?
I mean, the whole bit was they pushed the button at the end that stopped the thing, and that was it.
Yeah.
It was like
anyone could have done that. They could have got any character that would have originally been in the building to do that.
Yeah, they tried to have
nonsense of traveling from wherever they were in. I'm assuming they were in the States, weren't they?
Yeah.
So her traveling at breakneck speed to Tokyo,
the special ships,
was just nonsense. And was that whole hollow Earth thing, is that part of any of the original stories for this?
It's been around. It goes back to your Jules Verne Journey of the Centre of the Earth and all that, and the idea that there's still this bit around the Earth's core.
No, I know what hollow Earth is. I mean, in the canon of Godzilla, Kong, and all that.
That's what I'm saying. It's been around. It depends who's steering the ship. It's a lot of Godzilla originally was radioactive. Then as time's gone on, they've tried to then explain it. And then Kong came from Skull Island, but where did that come from? Over the years, it's sort of different people have dropped their own little interpretations in, and then it kind of all went a bit Jules Verne at times as well. And
I think that comes across. I think it was just made the film confused. It felt like they were trying to piece together 3 different films in this, and I don't think it worked or knitted together as one single film. If they're going to do a journey to the center of the Earth, then do it again, but better. I just kind of feel that there was a wasted opportunity with that.
But I think this is another example, and we talked about it earlier about in the different things we're talking about like the vision of the original creator, and I think this is another director studio feud in this film that's kind of resulted in what we've got. I reckon we're going to get a Blu-ray with a lot more stuff on it. Like it just felt like bits were taken out. It's one of these again where I think the studio were like, we need a 2-hour film. It's like, well, I've got 2 hours 40 minutes. It must be 2 hours. Yeah, but everyone will watch it. It'll really make sense. Everyone will get it. I mean, we've just seen it was the Snyder cut for, even though it was still bad, but it was better than what it was to start with. And it's that whole just those little things. So I still feel maybe Millie Bobby Brown and her little gang with the kid from Deadpool 2 and the conspiracy dude. I think there's probably half of their stuff we never even saw, which may have made more of the story relevant and
make you care about them, because you didn't really care about them, did you?
Because they recast, like, her dad was recast in the last movie, and he's in it like 10 seconds. So it's just like, like, hey, is that you on the phone? Yeah. What? Sorry, I can't hear you.
Yeah.
And it's like, why? We didn't.
Yeah, none of that nonsense needed to be in it.
Yeah, exactly. But I think it did, but all the reasons why it needed to be in it aren't there anymore. They all got chopped out, and it was just sort of, she's in Stranger Things. We can't cut her out completely. Kids like her. I was honestly waiting at one bit when it was all shaking at the end for her to headbutt the counter and then come up with a nosebleed. Just so they could get that in, like, oh, what's that? Oh, I've got a nosebleed. And everyone go, oh my God, see? And that's what they paid the money for. Because none of those three were terrible in it. They just served no purpose at all, really. No, apart from to tip whiskey in the machine at the end, or whatever it was. That was how they broke it in the end, wasn't it? So it's all their IT skills, and he just didn't he tip whiskey in it, or booze in it, or whatever it was? Yeah.
In the grill. It's like, yeah.
And the other bit, I was surprisingly Team Kong in this one. Well, I'm normally a Godzilla guy. But I think they done Kong well. I mean, once you saw Kong bonded with the kid, you were there. You didn't care about Godzilla. And I do like the fact that Godzilla kind of like came in at the end, trashed Tokyo, and then was kind of like, oh, it was his fault really, and then just walked back to the sea, even though he probably killed millions.
I wasn't overly impressed with the big fight sequence at the end. And was it Tokyo, Hong Kong, one of the two? Can't remember which one now. It just, the effects didn't look that great. The whole buildings were being destroyed, but there's no real debris or clouds.
Not a dust cloud in sight.
Yeah, it's Tokyo. It's cleaner there.
Yeah, if you crush a brick, you get dust.
And even the effects of Mechagodzilla, he looked a bit ropey, didn't he?
It reminded me. Does anyone remember those toys? I think they were called Zoids.
Zoids.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I don't know. I mean, to be honest with you, the other week when you were talking about Mechagodzilla, I had no clue what you were talking about. So, for all I know, Zoids could have been based on this Mechagodzilla from 30, 40 years ago, for all I know. But that's all it reminded me of was Zoids.
Yeah, pretty much. And it just looked like they really did have two people in costumes doing most of the fighting.
I did like the bit where he did the dive and punch off the building, though, where he ran sort of solo of the building, got a punch in. There were some nice moments there, I thought, and I think I'm more excited about it at the end though, because now after 3, 4, 5 movies, or I've lost track now, they've actually set up. They've got everything in the right place that the next movie should be really, really, really good. Because we've got like the Kong base down there. Godzilla's in the sea somewhere. There are probably other monsters around. We don't know what's going on. There's actually something now. This should have been the first movie, however many years ago, when they done that first Godzilla one.
The one with Ferris in.
Yeah. This should have been that film, and we should be further along than that now.
Well, this is what I was going to ask, because as you're probably fully aware, other than the one with Ferris Bueller in, which was however many years ago, and I vaguely remember bits of it. This whole thing where they're talking, they know Godzilla's over there and Kong is over there, and there's the Titans. Is that all part of was I supposed to have known all of that going into this film? Is that all part of the previous?
It's all been in the other films, yeah. I mean, they didn't go on, yeah, but it was basically they were acknowledging the events of the other films, which some of the other films didn't acknowledge the events of the other films. So it's quite nice that they're trying. That was probably what made me like it more, was the fact they're actually, like you said, they were trying to pull all these things together and reference things. And like you say, maybe it got a bit disjointed because, like the whole bit, because he was in the skull, because it was the other one had the 3 heads and they were telepathically linked. So if he did that thing in that skull, he could control the skull that was in the robot Godzilla. And But again, that got about a 10-second throwaway line just to explain it. Where they could have gone into all that a bit more for the Monsterpedia people out there that know all the things. Probably I'll be corrected on that. I probably said something wrong, but
probably yeah.
But it's just when to me this is a really good starting point, which probably means that'll be the last one. It's just like I think I left it more excited than I was when I started it, thinking, oh, they finally done it right. Let's see what happens next, and it'll probably just all be remade again now.
Yeah, I mean, I have expected when Kong went into back to Hollow Earth and he'd come across a tribe of other big apes. Yeah, that he'd have to do battles with and reclaim his crown down there or something.
Oh, hopefully that'll be the next one.
Yeah, maybe you've just given us the idea for the sequel, or whatever you call it when you get 5 films in a row.
Quadrilogy.
Yeah, whatever.
But I went a 7 out of 10. I enjoyed it. It did what it said on the tin, but I really think it got sliced and diced again, and we suffer because of that. And it gets, and the reviewing of it suffers because of that. The young actress, I think, Kaylee Hottle, deserves some sort of award for actually keeping the believableness alive in a film of this kind. You felt sympathy for her. You didn't really care if anyone else died, but you wanted her to go. And her bond with Kong was awesome, and she saved the film. And I do think that it got sliced to bits in the studio, and that's why we ended up with the disjointedness that it was. But as far as two big Koichis having a big super smackdown, I was up for it and I enjoyed it. 7 out of 10.
7 out of 10. Fair enough.
I thought you were agreeing with him then.
No.
5 out of 10 for me.
Why? Give a summary statement.
Well, as I said, it was, a couple of hours that I'm never going to get back. Yes, I mean, it was, as I said, the plot just didn't stack up for me, and the big battle at the end again just didn't feel like it was the crescendo or whatever of the film. It seems a bit lackluster at the end. And as we said, even the whiskey poured over the machine to break the thing just seemed a bit shoddy. And you're right, it seems like a lot of it ended up on the cutting room floor. And I think Millie Bobby Brown was wasted, and could have done a lot more. But yeah, I'm only really giving it a 5 out of 10 for the young girl that's the main character in it, because I think she actually did a sterling job.
And Damian.
I think the most I could possibly give it is out of 10, 4, and that's just based on it looked pretty slick in the effects department, but I don't care. It's just nonsense. A whacking great big gorilla fighting
ape,
whatever, fighting a whacking great monster, because it's not even a dinosaur, is it? Because I'm sure I would get letters if I called it a dinosaur. But it was just nonsense. And then this Hollow Earth arse gravy, where they need Kong to get them into the Hollow Earth, but they just fly in there. Kong doesn't help them get there. And then you've got, we need to get this power source. Only Kong knows where it is. Kong will lead us. How does Kong know that he's got to lead them there?
The girl.
She didn't tell him. There's no point in there. Is she saying, show us where this power source is?
She had a nice chat with him.
Well,
she said, we're going to take you home.
Yeah, we're going to take you home. So they know full well that the power source is where Kong lives, is it?
Well, no, they saw him when he put the thing down. He showed them.
Showed them what?
He put his Kong axe down and it all went purpley.
Yeah, when they were in there.
I believe that's the technical term.
They knew there was something down there, and they just took Kong.
So they took a chance that Kong. That's where Kong lives.
Yeah,
pretty much. Although some of that was slightly off of what's it called? It was a bit that did remind me a little bit of Pacific Rim.
Yeah,
where you needed to pass through they needed something to pass through the thing. The void, that was it. And I think Pacific Rim is a million times better film. Yeah. If you haven't seen that, the first one, go and watch that, Damien.
Is that more big monsters fighting other big monsters?
It's big monsters fighting humans in big robot suits.
Yeah, I'll put it on my list.
Which list? Not all lists are good. No, you'd like that one. That one's really good. It is a good film. But I think I think that was their bit of like trying to do a bit of that as well to sort of make it cool. I do think that because I don't remember the Center to the Earth bit. I remember, but I don't remember like having to pass through the thing. I did like the idea of the gravity shift and you had to get it right or you got squashed. I thought that was quite a clever idea. A bit of science. So as you jump out, you got
that's classic Hollow Earth theory. That is.
Well, there you go. And I was hoping I'd see David Icke running around with the mole men or whatever it was, but the snake people. But that wasn't good. But so, what was was it a 4? Did you say?
I think I said 4. I might have even said 3. I'm getting the more I think about it, the more I want to drop it down to a 3. Just go and see this crazy scientist in his basement at the university where he lectures, and he'll know what to do. And again, actually, they didn't even need him. What purpose did he serve? They have the machines, these flying, whatever they were called. There was a specific name for them. He called them helicopters, but no, they're not helicopters. They're something else. They have those. And you've got Kong, who knows where to lead everyone anyway, regardless of whether he's told to or not. He knows exactly where he needs to be going to find this energy source that may or may not be where Kong lived, ruled, sat on his throne, whatever. Where does crazy wide-eyed scientist fit into this? He didn't serve any purpose either, other than towards the end of that sequence, he was there
Wasn't it him and his brother's theory to drop down or something?
Yeah, but he didn't add anything. They already had the machines. The gateway is already there, built and ready to go.
The biggest waste of a character, though, evil guy's daughter. Who shows her evil side. You're like, oh, she's really evil, and then just got crushed, and that was it.
Exactly.
Crushed in her little spaceship thing.
Careful, or he's going to drop it down to a 2.
It was just nonsense from start to finish. Just
put
a little bit more thought into it.
Well, that's my point. I think they did, and I think this is just yet another example of studio interference. But but I think this is the bigger. Moving on from the film review now we've got our final scores in. Is this the new Hollywood battle now? We've always had the director versus the studio, but are we now moving into a point where the studio just let the director do everything anyway and then just butcher it afterwards?
Do you think we're going to get Godzilla vs. Kong, the Shyster cut at some point?
Or at least the Blu-ray expanded super special edition or something like that.
Cool, that's something to put on my Christmas list. Could do with some new coasters.
But do you think this is something that's happening now? I mean, remember Josh Trank when he done that Fantastic Four film that was awful, but he was like, he disowned it on Facebook before it even came out, and then he was like, "That's not my vision."
A different director to come in and do some reshoots for that as well.
Probably, because I think
I kind of think we talked about this. It was either in the Shyster bonus episode or at some point in the last couple of weeks, where you've got two kind of factions of audience for this type of film, and one is the true hardcore fans, and the other is the general observer, if you like, the family, that would just go to the cinema because they want to go to the cinema, and the studio are the ones that are stuck in the middle, if you like, that they kind of have to make the decision whether they're going to please the hardcore fans.
The hardcore.
I was
trying to the chowder heads.
So you either please the chowder heads and you make a film. It's not niche because there's a lot more people out there now than there ever were that like that. They're into that kind of stuff. But do the studio want to take a gamble that it's only going to please the chowder heads, or does it also have to appeal to your casual cinema goer? And they're probably always going to lean on the side towards the casual observer.
I totally get what you're saying now, but I think in something like this film, I don't know if it was necessarily like the hardcore elements removed. They just sort of sliced it down. I can get it where we don't need, like we were saying with the Snyder Cut, you don't need every setup and seeing Bruce Wayne going over a mountain for 10 minutes to understand that it was a tough journey to get there. I mean, I can understand that being cut, but just like if there was a couple of bits of scenes that might have made something make sense later on, is it, when it's cut for chowderhead reasons of hardcore fans, I get, but if it's just cut because it's going to affect the story, but really we want it to be about 90 minutes. We don't want it to be any longer, so we'll just chop there, and not really, they won't know. They'll love it. It's got Godzilla in it. It's big. There's explosions. Kids will love it.
That probably is the case though, because there's probably millions of people up and down the country that like me have no interest in the history behind either of these two characters. I mean,
I'm talking about any film in general as well, not just this film. There seems to be a lot of things going on now where studios or directors are suddenly not happy with like the film that they saw wasn't the one that they made, to sort of paraphrase. Is that because not just because of the franchise, but even your normal, I don't know, tough, uncompromising cop gets corrupted and then goes on a vengeance rampage, or one of those sorts of, sort of your action movies and that. It just seems to be a thing across the board now which maybe it always has been. I mean, there's always been that director-studio artistic vision battle, but I don't think it's necessarily artistic vision battle now. I think it's more just becoming, it can't be longer than 1 hour and 20 minutes, and it is, so we're just going to chop bits out. It doesn't make sense anymore, but we're going to do it. And I don't know, it just seems to be happening. There seems to be a lot more of that.
Films just have to be the big blockbuster for the summer. In fact, it's not even for the summer now, is it? You have to have a big blockbuster in the spring.
It's almost one in the summer. Tentpole films now, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. So that's all that's getting released. The more low key, interesting films get relegated as a result. And we're all told that the average attention span is getting shorter and shorter as the generations go by, and the studio got no interest in people our age and above. It's bringing in younger audiences so that they'll stay with that product or that franchise or that genre for as long as possible. So it's not about telling a good story anymore. It's about making the best clips for trailers and making the best clips for YouTube.
But again, if you're a studio, do you go for a new original script, or do you go with something that has been there before and got a chance of getting money back at the box office? And I think there's probably less inclination to take a bit of a gamble unless it's brought by a director and a writer that they know has got a chance.
Yeah, and that goes back to bringing it full circle back around to the new Space Jam trailer, which is what we were talking about earlier. That's what I was trying to remember of, let's just chuck all these different properties into the trailer, see what sticks, and maybe we can make some money out of them.
Yeah.
And that is cinema today, people.
There you go.
And speaking of making money, I was just looking it up as we were talking, and currently, up till yesterday, Godzilla vs. Kong has taken $385 million. So
that's presumably through VOD.
Yeah, I'm guessing so. Yeah, because that's a good point. Because a lot of cinemas and that. Oh no, there have been IMAXs around. Yeah, because in America now, some of the cinemas are opening that now.
Okay.
But so that's not bad for an opening weekend or week. So
not much competition for it though, is there?
Yeah, but I'm surprised most people haven't stayed at home and just waited for it to
it's available to rent.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, and do it that way. But in this day and age,
it is.
No, that's what I'm saying. It is. That's what I'm agreeing with you. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So to help make up that much money in that amount of time, because I don't think anything's come close to that yet in the recent cinema trend of lockdown. But
then I think that kind of film probably would have benefited from a watching experience being on
definitely
the big screen. A cinema screen, I should say.
I want to watch it in one of those ones. What do you call those cinemas? Is it a 4D cinema? Like where the seats shake and you get sprayed with water in the face. Something like that. I think that would have been pretty cool. Are we right? Are we wrong? Should there be more Kong films? Should there be more Godzilla films? Should we just make trailers of everyone in it all together and see which ones people talk about? These and more questions will be answered in the future.
Yeah, not next week's podcast.
No. Certainly not. Okay, is that us done then? Do you think? Have we got any more to add? Anything we're really looking forward to next week? I guess I'm going to take that as a no.
I don't even know anymore, to be honest. Nothing that's standing out at the moment.
Yeah, I think we're kind of hitting that. I mean, let's be honest. I mean, even in normal circumstances, sort of television drops off a little bit at this time of year. And it's cinema that kind of takes over, isn't it? If that makes sense. So TV wise, I think we're going to be seeing less and less TV shows as we would do normally. But on top of that, because of the pandemic, that there's going to be even fewer series is dropping, and you're going to need to start looking at sort of older stuff that you may have just like passed you by that you didn't watch the first time round, or
like Dempsey and Makepeace.
I wasn't thinking of going that far back, to be fair. I was thinking of stuff that kind of dropped 2 or 3 years ago that you never got around to watching. I'm not necessarily going to go out of my way to watch Dempsey and Makepeace, and I think on Virgin, Forces TV is way down the list of channels on the TV guide.
Well, now, I mean, I've got me Falcon and Winter Soldier, and I've got Invincible to watch, so that'll keep me going. But that's only for Friday. There's a lot more days in the week.
Hey, I forgot about Falcon and Winter Soldier. I might give it give one of those episodes a go tonight.
Let me know how that works out for you.
No cape so far.
Still spandex though, isn't there?
Not yet. This is like the more army side of it. This is This is your more military end of the Marvel universe.
It's a military. No, I'm not. It's not. No, I don't want to go down this rabbit hole.
Oh, but you do. You're just clinging to the edge, though.
I've drawn the line at. I was about to say Monster Squad, not Monster Squad.
Wolfman's got nards.
What do I mean? What did we talk about last week? There's squad in it.
Suicide
Squad, yeah, that's where I'm drawing the line. I'm going to watch Suicide Squad.
And you said you were going to watch the first one of Loki because you said.
I said it. You piqued my interest.
Yeah,
and I may investigate a little further. I didn't say I was going to watch it. And anyway, there's like 6 weeks until that drops or something, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so. Something like that. Yeah.
So there's more time for you to convince me that I should watch Loki. So there we go. I think we're done then. So as always, don't forget to rate and review us on your favourite podcast app. If you want to get in contact with us, we can be emailed at cultfactionpodcast@mail.com. So it's good night from me.
Good night from me.
And good night from me.
Where did you go, Barry White?
Superman.
I really do need that whiz.
Round table.
Ting, idea.
Charlie Taxi.
I think maybe he has a bad kicked in.
Sorry, I had to take him out like Superman.